Once again, I welcome you all to our online classes. In this class, I am going to deal with speech sound system of English language. So students, as you know, in the previous couple of classes, since we started learning modern English structure, in the very first class, we talked in general about phonetics as a system of pronunciation, a science of pronunciation. I'll just take a recap whatever we have done in the previous couple of classes or so that you will get a proper connectivity with the present class. Students, as you know, phonetics is a branch of linguistics concerned with the production, physical nature and perception of speech sounds. As a matter of fact, it is the scientific study of the speech sounds of a particular language, and here for us that particular language is nothing but English language. Subsequently in the class, we studied received pronunciation. What is received pronunciation? The pronunciation system of the southeastern educated British people, which was socially adopted by the British people and later widely accepted as a standard of pronunciation by various countries all over the world, is called received pronunciation. And parallelly, International Phonetic Association has developed certain symbols for each of the 44 sounds, and today we learn British English with RP, that is received pronunciation, as a standard, and the same we are also going to learn in this paper. In the subsequent class, I talked about the organs of speech and various organs of speech. Now you are familiar too, and of course in the subsequent classes you will realize that how these organs of speech are going to immensely contribute for the proper production of English language as such. So here I go for the present class. As I already communicated that today's class is having a topic that is speech sound system of English language. First of all, try to understand what do you mean by speech. Speech in any language, not limited to English only, and this definition you can find in any dictionary also. So there you find the definition of speech like this: speech is the expression of or the ability to express thoughts and feelings by articulating sounds. So now you might have understood our major concern is with the sounds of English, because this definition itself is conveying the fact that the speech mainly deals with the ability of an individual to express his thoughts and feelings or to express himself in a particular language, and when we use that particular language, it means we produce the sounds in that particular language. And here our major concern is with English language. Okay, let us talk about the various sounds of English. If you study the IPA rules and regulations, that is International Phonetic Association rules and regulations and recommendations, you will find that they have suggested 44 different sounds of English. Now, you might be having a kind of doubt in mind. So, we studied English right from schooling, and our teachers have taught us only 26 letters of English. But now, try to understand the difference between the letters of English and sounds of English. I do agree, there are 26 letters of English, but these letters are useful for us for writing English language on a piece of paper, that is the script form of English language. And here we are not going to deal with, or we have no concern with, the script of English language or the letters of English language. Moreover, we are concerned with the sounds of English. So, the script or letters are different than sounds of a language. So, I do agree 26 letters are there, but similarly you need to remember that there are 44 sounds of English. So, I hope you might have understood the difference between the letters which are used in script of English and the sounds which are used in the articulation of English or the production of English. So, now try to understand the division of all these 44 sounds of English. Here we have a very clear division into two categories. One, the consonant sounds, other, the vowel sounds. As far as English phonetics is concerned, we have 44 sounds of English, and these 44 sounds are divided into two categories. One is consonants. There are 24 total number of consonant sounds in English, whereas 20 vowel sounds are there in English phonetics. So, 24 plus 20 is equal to 44. So, this is how is a very clear division. But here I would like to mention about the vowel sounds. Here you have 20 vowels altogether, okay, but there is again a division into two categories. 12 pure vowels are there which are called monophthongs, and 8 diphthongs are there where you find the glide from one vowel to the another vowel. So, this is how 12 plus 8 is equal to 20. So, here we have 44 sounds of English, 24 consonant sounds and 20 vowel sounds. So, once again I would like to make a comparison with the script of English. So, as you know, 26 letters of English are there, among which we have 21 consonants and remaining 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. These are the 5 vowels. So, here when you try to compare English script with English sound system, you will realize that in English script system we have 21 consonants, but in English sounds we have 24 consonants. Similarly, you have only 5 vowels in English script, but there are 20 vowel sounds in English phonetics. So, this difference you need to remember throughout, because there should not be any confusion between the letters of English, they are 26 in number, and sounds of English which are 44 in number. Let us switch over to the another slide. Here, as I have just mentioned on the top about the received pronunciation, as you know very well now, that received pronunciation is a kind of English speech pattern or accent of the southeastern educated British people. Okay, agree? And since British people ruled over India for several hundred years, so of course they have deeply rooted their language in our soil. And when we study English, whether it is English script or the sound pattern of English, we do follow the standards of British English as such. So, as I said in my previous lecture also, within England or within Great Britain itself, there are nearly 50 to 70 different accents of English. And here we are not going to learn all these accents as such. We are more concerned with the pure standard of English, that is the southeastern educated British people's accent pattern, and that accent pattern is called received pronunciation, and we are going to learn that one only. So in the previous slide I talked about 44 sounds. I talked about the division into two categories also, that is 24 consonants and 20 vowels. So here I'll just make a very clear reference to the voiced and voiceless pattern and the clear division of all these 44 sounds. One thing you need to remember always, that all the vowel sounds, it means 20 vowel sounds, 12 pure vowels called monophthongs and 8 diphthongs, which are the glides from one vowel to the another vowel. So all these 20 vowel sounds are voiced sounds. That is all clear about vowel sounds. Now you have 24 consonant sounds. So among the 24 consonant sounds, 15 consonants are voiced, whereas 9 consonants are voiceless. So here if you see, total number of vowels are 20, all are voiced, whereas 24 consonant sounds are there. Among the 24 consonants, 15 are voiced sounds and remaining 9 are the voiceless sounds. So if you make a division here now, among the 44 total number of sounds, 20 plus 15, 35 are the voiced sounds and remaining 9, and all are the consonants here, they are the voiceless sounds. So let us move to the next slide. Try to understand a sound and what is all about this voiceless and voiced kind of thing, because since this paper is new to you all, so it will take some time to understand the typical terminology used in English phonetics as such. Here you have a sound which is described as either a voiced or voiceless. So depending on the articulation of the sound, we determine whether the sound is voiceless or voiced. So let us look at the first one, that is voiceless. A sound is described as voiceless when the vocal cords do not vibrate considerably during its articulation. What do you mean by that? Now you take a sound, 44 sounds are there, you take any of them. Okay. So when you pronounce that particular sound, as I already said, that all the sounds are created here in the vocal cords. If at all your vocal cords do not vibrate considerably at the time of the production of the sound, it means that sound is a voiceless. Now look at the second one, that is a voiced sound. What is a voiced sound? If at all you produce a certain sound and the vocal cords do vibrate considerably at the time of the articulation of the sound, such kind of sound is called a voiced sound. So here we have a clear division among all the 44 sounds, that there are a few voiceless sounds and there are a few voiced sounds. If you remember, in the previous slide I told you that all 20 vowels are voiced. It means at the time of the production of these sounds, the vocal cords considerably vibrate. In addition, you have 15 consonant sounds which are also voiced sounds. It means your vocal cords considerably vibrate at the time of the production of the sound. So altogether you have 20 plus 15, 35 voiced sounds out of 44 sounds of English. Whereas there are 9 consonant sounds which are voiceless because vocal cords do not considerably vibrate at the time of the production of these sounds. So now let us switch over to the another slide. Here you might have seen, that is classification of sounds of English, because we are more concerned with the sound pattern of English. We are not concerned with the script pattern of English or letters as such. We are concerned with the sounds. So, sound is produced by the interference of the flow of the air through the mouth or nose. Now, one thing you need to understand. We produce different sounds. As I said, presently we are talking about English language. So, we produce English with the help of 44 different sounds. So, when we produce all these sounds are produced with the help of the vocal cords, either through the mouth cavity or through the nasal cavity. Okay. So, actually there are 4 types of cavities in the human body. One, you have the pharyngeal, pharynx, that is also called a cavity. Second, you have the ear cavity. Third, you have the mouth cavity. And fourth, you have the nasal cavity. So, these are the 4 cavities available. As far as pronunciation system is concerned, production system is concerned, pharyngeal, mouth and nose, these 3 cavities are helpful for the production of speech. Whereas, when you are at the receiving end of the produced sounds, you need the ear cavity to perceive the sounds of the speaker or the sounds created by the speaker. So, here probably you might have understood now that a sound is produced by the interference of the flow of the air which is coming from the lungs, having an obstacle in the vocal cords, passing through the mouth or nose. So, in order to produce speech sounds, since we are learning for English speech sounds you can say. So, in order to produce English speech sounds, the flow of the pulmonary air in the vocal tract must somehow be modified. Until and unless that is modified, the production of a sound will never take place. So, now let us understand what I mean to say the modification of the airflow that is coming from the vocal tracts, from the the wind tube also you can say. Let us try to understand that. Actually, there are 4 main types of modifications which take place in our phonatory system at the time of the production of different sounds of English. Okay. So, now try to understand the first one, that is, when we produce a particular sound of English, there is a complete blockage followed by a sudden release. It means at the time of the production of a sound, the pulmonary air that comes from the lungs finds an obstacle in the vocal cords. Either it makes the considerable difference or not depending on the sound, and later on sometimes it finds a complete blockage somewhere in the nasal cavity or in the mouth cavity, and then the sound is produced after the sudden release of the air. That is one type of or one kind of modification that takes place at the time of production. Number 2, you have a complete blockage followed by a gradual release. Again you see almost the same thing happens. The pulmonic air that comes from the lungs finds an obstacle here in the vocal cords. Either the vocal cords will vibrate considerably or not depending on the sound. It finds a blockage either in the nasal cavity or in the mouth cavity somewhere. Then the air flow is released gradually. In the previous case suddenly, in this case gradually, and then the articulation of sound is taking place or the production of sound is taking place. The third type is constriction or narrowing the passage creates a sound. Okay. When the pulmonic air that comes from the lungs finds the first obstacle in the vocal cords, either the vocal cords vibrate or not depending again on the sound, but when the air is being released from the cavity, either the nasal cavity or mouth cavity, the passage is being narrowed down and then the air is being released to the narrow passage and later the sound is produced. Now you have the fourth type, that is no blockage takes place anywhere at all. It means the pulmonic air that comes from the lungs comes up to the vocal cords. Vocal cords are wide apart, it means the glottis is wide open, purely open, and the air passes through the vocal cords without any hindrance. Mouth cavity is totally open and the air is released without any obstacle, and that kind of production of sound is called sound with no blockage at all. So these are the 4 modifications which are taking place at the time of the articulation of various sounds of English. It means 44 sounds of English. Now let us switch over to the another slide. If you remember, right in the beginning of this lecture, I explained the types of sounds, that is 44 sounds are there altogether, and there is a clear division into 2 categories. One is a consonant sound and another is a vowel sound. So let us try to understand the difference between a consonant sound and a vowel sound. As far as the consonant sounds are concerned, you need to understand one thing very clearly, that before proceeding with the further details, it should be noted that we cannot draw an exact line between the vowels and consonant sounds in any language. Actually, there is a continuum exists between the 2 extremes, that is consonants and vowels. There are also intermediate instances such as the semi-vowels and the frictionless continuants in English speech sound system. So until and unless we keep all these things in mind, we will not be able to make a difference between the consonant sounds and vowel sounds. Okay, anyhow, let us try to understand one after the other. If the air once comes out of the glottis is allowed to pass freely through the resonators, the sound is called a vowel sound. Number 1. Number 2, if the air once comes out of the glottis is obstructed either partially or totally in one or more places, either in the nasal cavity or in the oral cavity, such kind of sound is called a consonant sound. So probably you might have understood the minute difference. Of course, there is a continuum, okay, existed between the 2, but there is an essential difference between the consonant sound and vowel sound. Still, we will try to talk in terms of this voiced and voiceless sounds as such once again. The vocal cords are the folds of muscles, as I said, which are located in the level of the glottis. In fact, the glottis is nothing other than the space between the vocal cords. That also you need to understand. Second, the vocal cords vibrate when they are closed to obstruct the airflow through the glottis, and they do vibrate under the pressure of the air which is being forced through them by the lungs. Second, the voiced or voiceless apposition is mainly useful for the classification of consonants. Already I said that all the vowel sounds are purely voiced. So when it comes to make a division among the consonants, we need to segregate either that one is voiced or voiceless. So that also we need to take into consideration whenever we try to differentiate between the vowel sounds and consonant sounds. Actually, voiceless vowels are rarely found in the languages of the world, and here as far as English language is concerned, there is no voiceless vowel sound at all. So here we will continue with the better understanding of the difference between the vowel and consonant sounds. So as I said, there is no noticeable obstruction in the vocal tracts during the production of vowels. Air escapes in a relatively unimpeded way through the mouth. If at all you try saying a, e, u, a, etc., you should be able to feel that although your tongue moves about your mouth, it never actually obstructs the airflow. And that is the essential difference between a vowel sound and a consonant sound. One more thing you need to understand. What is that? Vowel sounds are actually produced in the pharyngeal, which is next to the vocal cords but before the mouth cavity. In that particular space, larynx kind of thing, all the vowels are produced. You can make a minute observation of this one separately, independently, you will realize that. Whereas consonants are produced either in the mouth cavity or in the nasal cavity, except semi-vowels. So we can conclude that the consonants are created when the airflow is directly restricted or obstructed. Number one. Number two, as such, the pulmonary air cannot escape from the oral cavity without creating audible friction. And the third, by way of contrast, vowels are created when the airflow is not crucially restricted or obstructed. So these are the 2 to 3 differences between the vowel sound and a consonant sound. Therefore, pulmonary air can escape the oral cavity without creating any audible friction. So while defining the characteristics of consonants include the voiceless and voiced, place of articulation and the manner of articulation. Whereas when we try to define the characteristics of vowels, you have the shapes of the lips and the relative tongue position, and that is how you define a vowel. Here, what I exactly mean to say, whenever we are talking about the details of a consonant sound and we try to define the characteristics of a consonant sound, there are 3 factors which are included. One, we need to identify whether the consonant sound is voiceless sound or voiced sound. Number 2, we need to find out what is the place of articulation of the consonant sound. And number 3, we need to identify the manner of articulation of the sound. So these are called 3-term labels of the interpretation of consonant sounds of English. But when we try to find out the 3-term labels for vowel sounds in English, you will realize that first of all, we cannot say like this vowel is voiceless or voiced, because all the 20 vowels in English are absolutely voiced sounds. So we need not mention whether it is voiceless or voiced. But we need to talk about the shape of the lip at the time of the production of the sound, and then how this tongue position is related to. So this is how we try to define the various characteristics of vowels in English. So this is the lecture on English speech sounds, and as far as this class is concerned, I tried to make it very clear to you all that the speech sound system of English has 44 sounds. We have clear division into 2 categories, 24 sounds of consonant and 20 vowel sounds, followed by I made a division between the voiced sounds and voiceless sounds, In addition, I also made the classification of sounds of English altogether, followed by the modifications into 4 categories. And towards the end of this lecture, I talked about the difference between the consonant sounds and vowel sounds. And in the next class, I will be able to talk on the classification of vowel sounds in particular, and that is the detailed study of the sounds of English. Okay, so thank you very much